Crack is cheap. I make too much money to ever smoke crack. Let's get that straight, okay?
Some interviews leave you laughing. These ones leave you stunned.
No, but you haven't fleshed it out. That's the only reason.
It's not my job to flesh it out.
From drunken rants to public breakdowns, these moments made fans question everything.
Andy, please, Donald Trump will kill both of us.
Here are the top 20 most disturbing interviews with the celebrities. Charlie Sheen, the Tiger Blood interview. In 2011, Charlie Sheen gave a chaotic interview after being fired from 2.5 Men. His intense behavior and bizarre quotes quickly became viral.
Your anger and your hate, I think, is coming off as erratic to people.
Passion, my passion.
He presents himself not as troubled, but as someone too powerful for the system to handle.
Is coming off as erratic
Right,
to people.
well, you borrow my brain for 5 seconds and just be like, dude, can't handle it.
His manic energy dominates the interview, blurring the line between confidence and delusion.
As they must. What are you a doctor of? What
Some
are you
are
a doctor
saying that
of?
you're bipolar.
Wow, what does that mean?
He embraces his party lifestyle with pride.
I don't know, man. I was banging 7-gram rocks and finishing them because that's how I roll. I have one speed, I have one gear. Go.
Then came the phrase that defined the interview.
Because I'm me, I'm different. I just have a different constitution, I have a different brain, I have a different heart, I have a different, I get tiger blood, man.
Despite everything, Sheen insists he's in control.
Are you worried you're going to relapse?
No,
Why?
because I'm not going to, period, the end.
Paula Deen's emotional collapse on live TV. She began by trying to explain a word she used years ago. Her tone was serious, and she looked down often.
The day I used that word, it was a world ago. It was 30 years ago.
Then she shared a story about a robbery, trying to justify her past actions. She looked nervous and uneasy.
Because the man that had the gun to my head, unbeknown to me, was my customer at the main office.
Matt asked if she had used that word at other times. Paula quickly denied it, shaking her head.
You used the word on other occasions?
No.
So you have, other than that one time in the bank, a robbery attempt.
When he asked again, she looked down and repeated herself, clearly feeling pressured.
You have never used the N-word other than that one occasion?
No, it's just not.
Then came a strange moment. Lauer asked if she ever regretted telling the truth. Paula firmly said no, then suddenly mentioned disliking certain people.
Don't like that I am prejudiced against Matt, and that's thieves and liars.
She started crying while telling a story about her grandson. Her voice cracked, and tears rolled down her face.
Kenny, I don't tell lies.
In the end, she cried harder and looked into the camera, saying something extreme about judgment.
If you're out there, please pick up that stone and throw it so hard in my head that it kills me.
It was raw and painful to watch, a public moment where emotions completely took over. Michael Richards tries to apologize, but it gets worse. Richards appeared shaken and quiet. He said he felt he needed to speak directly and looked visibly disturbed while trying to explain himself.
Addressing the situation. I've already heard you make some jokes about it, and that's okay, but I'm...
He apologized to the audience members he offended, saying he was very sorry. His voice cracked and his hands stayed tightly clasped.
I'm really busted up over this, and I'm very, very sorry to those people in the audience.
As he continued, his message became more confusing. He brought up hate, rage, and even Hurricane Katrina.
And I'm concerned about more hate and more rage and more anger coming through.
Letterman interrupted to ask how he would have responded if the hecklers were white. Richards paused, looking uncertain.
Doing the heckling, or the people who were not paying attention, had they been white or Caucasian or any other race.
He then said he pushes limits as a performer, but his words felt scattered. The moment felt more uncomfortable than sincere.
Controlled manner on stage. I do a lot of free association and spontaneous. I go into character. I don't know.
Kanye West says slavery was a choice. During a visit to TMZ, Kanye West said something that shocked everyone in the room. He called 400 years of slavery a choice.
400 years? That sounds like a choice. Like, you was there for 400 years and it's all of y'all?
Leaving people speechless. Van Lathan, a TMZ staff member, stood up and calmly but firmly told Kanye how dangerous his words were.
I actually don't think you're thinking anything. I think what you're doing right now is actually the absence.
Kanye then shared how he got liposuction and became addicted to opioids, trying to defend his actions and feelings.
Addicted to opioids. I had plastic surgery because I was trying to look good for y'all.
Yeah, fuck y'all.
R. Kelly's emotional interview with Gayle King. In this tense interview, R. Kelly tries to defend his controversial relationship with two young women, Jocelyn Savage and Azriel Clary. He claims their relationship is legal, but things quickly get heated when Gayle King questions his actions.
Handcuffing people, starving people. I have a harem, a cult.
R. Kelly becomes emotional when discussing the parents of the women, insisting they gave their daughters to him.
If they were not true, and they don't know each other. That defies logic to me.
Right. Until you hear.
The interview escalates, with R. Kelly shouting, pointing, and pacing.
Absolutely.
Crispen Glover's unsettling appearance on Letterman. During this bizarre interview, Crispen Glover's odd behavior leaves David Letterman visibly uncomfortable. Glover's erratic energy becomes evident as he starts flexing his muscles and challenging Letterman to an arm wrestling match.
Me sound a lot weird, and
Yeah.
I'm strong, I'm strong, I can arm wrestle.
After being rejected, Glover's energy escalates. He continues to act unpredictably, claiming he can kick and surprising everyone by nearly kicking Letterman.
I've taken part. These aren't mine. I can kick.
The interview ends with Glover patting Letterman on the back as the host tries to disengage from the situation.
I'm going to go check on the top 10.
No, I'm sorry.
I'll be back.
Joaquin Phoenix's uncomfortable appearance on Letterman. This interview with Joaquin Phoenix quickly becomes uncomfortable. Phoenix appears disheveled and distant, avoiding eye contact and offering short, flat responses.
Very much for being on the program again. It's been 3 years since the last time you were on the show, and I will just say right off.
Letterman tries to make light conversation about Phoenix's beard. The actor grows increasingly uneasy, even claiming the scratching is just a nervous tick.
I'm okay with it, but now you're making me feel weird about it.
I'm sorry, I'm making you feel weird about it?
The awkwardness intensifies, with long silences and Phoenix's detached body language, leaving the audience unsure whether to laugh or be concerned.
Terrific in the film. I really enjoyed your work.
Thank you.
Letterman, trying to keep it light, makes a joke about Phoenix's appearance, which briefly breaks the tension.
What can you tell us about your days with the Unabomber?
Ivanka Trump's uncomfortable interview with Andy Dick on Jimmy Kimmel Live. Ivanka was mid-sentence when she noticed Andy behaving strangely behind her, and she made a light comment about it.
A short period of time in a serious business context. I have no idea what he's doing behind me.
Suddenly, Andy interrupted her and made a strange comment about her legs, leaving her visibly surprised.
He's perfectly still.
I'm like trying to be very.
Without warning, he reached out and touched her leg. Ivanka pulled away fast, and Jimmy jumped in to stop it.
Stop the glitter on your legs.
Andy, don't please. Don't.
Ivanka tried to keep calm, laughing nervously, but the discomfort on her face said it all.
Don't touch Ivanka.
Oh wait, did I say I was single and then I had a boyfriend?
Andy.
Jimmy firmly warned Andy. Andy sat back, looking amused, while Ivanka stayed polite but uneasy.
Please, Donald Trump will kill both of us.
Madonna versus Letterman, TV chaos. She claims she brought something to prove how often he messes with her on the show, her tone playful but sharp.
Brought something to make a point.
All right, okay, good.
You are always me on the show.
The crowd loved it, but Letterman kept pushing. Madonna demanded they play a tape she brought.
Now there, you see?
What?
A nice.
The tape showed a fake version of her naked on a bike. She laughed loudly, then teased that her body looked better than that.
My ass looks a lot better than that.
Letterman asked about her cigar. She smirked and gave a bold answer, keeping the audience roaring.
It's just the right size.
What do you, now when you leave here tonight, what are you going to do?
Then came the moment that pushed the limits. When asked about her evening plans, she gave a shocking reply.
Are you going to go out? You're going to go...
Me, Dave.
Oh, jeez. Please.
Wait, aren't there any other segments?
Prince Andrew and the strange no-sweat claim. Emily began with a serious question. She brought up a woman who clearly remembered dancing with him and said he was sweating heavily that night.
Highly unusual circumstances. Normally, we'd be discussing your work, your duty.
Prince Andrew then interrupted quietly. He gave a strange facial reaction, almost like a small smirk, as if he knew what was coming next.
You've chosen to speak out for the first time. Why have you decided to talk now?
He continued seriously, saying he could not sweat back then because of something that happened during the Falklands War.
There is no good time to talk about Mr. Epstein, and
he claimed a burst of adrenaline stopped his body from sweating at all, and that lasted for years.
Something around the work that I was doing, and unfortunately we've just not been able to fit it into either your...
Then, without changing tone, he added that he recently started sweating again.
Until now, and actually it's a very good opportunity, and I'm delighted to be able to see you today.
Finally, he said this condition should clear him of any wrongdoing, finishing his point with confidence.
All of this goes back to your friendship with Jeffrey Epstein. How did you first become friends?
Whitney Houston confronts rumors in awkward interview. Here, Diane shows Whitney a photo that shocked many. She questions her weight and appearance, and things get tense quickly.
It may be a bad shot, but this is real. I mean, the bones, that's real.
Whitney responds with a firm tone, saying she was just thin, but her eyes show she is not pleased.
Yeah, my bones, yeah. I'm 5'7" and thin. I can understand what you mean.
Then Diane calls it scary thin. That word clearly hits hard.
Diane, tell me, do you know?
It's scary thin.
Next, Diane raises the drug rumors. Whitney's mood shifts, and her voice gets sharper.
Stress, and my eating habits were awful.
Whitney dying, crack rehab fails.
Whitney hits back strongly. Her words and hand gestures show how serious she is.
Crack is cheap. I make too much money to ever smoke crack. Let's get that straight, okay?
She ends it with a phrase that many still remember.
We don't do crack. We don't do that. Crack is whack.
The Meg Ryan interview that turned uncomfortable. This moment with Meg Ryan and Michael Parkinson became known for its awkward tone. What started as a calm conversation slowly shifted. Parkinson questioned her love for acting. Ryan looked unsure and gave short replies. Her smile faded fast and her tone turned quiet.
You said once that acting was not in your nature.
I did.
Ryan explained she liked the work but not the spotlight. Parkinson kept pressing her. It was clear she wanted the talk to end.
I think what I meant was that it always feels very awkward for me to be...
Then came the breaking point. When asked what he should do next, Ryan looked straight at him and calmly said he should just wrap it up. The tension was real and the audience laughed, but the moment felt sharp.
So therefore, well, I mean, it's a perfectly easy question, a decent question to ask you about being a journalist. I mean...
Quentin Tarantino walks out of the conversation. The host asked a calm question about violence in films and how it might affect people. Tarantino stayed silent for a second, then gave a cold response and pointed the question back at another actor.
Say that violence in films.
Well, then you should talk to Jamie Foxx. Then you should talk to
influence.
Jamie Foxx about that. And I think he's actually here, so you can.
When the host tried to continue the topic, Tarantino shut it down fast. He leaned in and said he was only there to promote his movie.
Because I'm here to sell my movie. This is a commercial for the movie, make no mistake.
The host asked if that meant avoiding serious topics, but Tarantino made it clear he was done. His voice rose and his tone turned sharp. He waved his hands and said he had already spoken on the matter before.
Yeah.
So you don't want to talk about anything serious?
I don't want to talk about what you want to talk about. I don't want to talk about the implications of violence.
The host tried again, softly, but Tarantino snapped back. He pointed and shut the conversation down completely. He even said straight up that he was shutting the host down.
No, but you haven't fleshed it out. That's
It's not my job to flesh it out.
Robert Downey Jr. walks out mid-interview. Robert shifted in his seat, smiled politely, but it was clear he was not happy with the direction. His body language slowly changed. The atmosphere became tense.
I want to say there's less pressure and there's more camaraderie.
The host pushed again, touching on drug use and family issues. Robert's expression turned serious. It was now visibly uncomfortable.
Make sure that you have your arc and your moments, but you're not responsible for the narrative of the whole thing, so it's kind of great.
Robert then cut him off sharply. He questioned the point of the interview.
Iron Man is such a different superhero, though, isn't he? In that he's self-made. He's arrogant.
And just like that, Robert stood up, gave a short goodbye, and walked out, leaving the interviewer stunned and speechless.
Was that what you brought to it, or was that there?
It was always inherent in the comics, and you know, Stan Lee.
Samuel L. Jackson calls out a shocking mistake. Jackson looked surprised when asked about a commercial he was never in.
What Super Bowl commercial?
Oh, you know what? I've admit my mistake.
Then Jackson directly corrected him, clearly upset but with some humor.
My mistake. You know what?
See, you're as crazy as the people on Twitter. Right. I'm not Lawrence Fishburne.
The anchor later admitted his mistake and said Jackson's reaction was fair.
I apologize.
I'm the other guy. I'm the other guy. The other one.
Britney Spears breaks down on national TV. At first, she answered calmly, but her smile looked tense and her voice a bit shaky.
You've had a year that would test a lot of people.
Then suddenly, her mood shifted. She laughed out loud, but it felt uncomfortable and forced.
Weird. Hello.
That smile soon faded. Britney tried to hold it in, but emotion took over.
Yeah, it was a weird time. Ew, I'm embarrassed.
Paris Hilton faces mocking questions on Letterman. Letterman started with small talk, but then he dropped a bomb asking about her jail experience.
New York City.
New York City is exciting, though, isn't it?
I was born here, yeah.
Yeah, good for you. How'd you like being in jail?
Paris looked caught off guard, laughing nervously and trying to keep it light, but the questions kept coming.
Not too much.
The awkwardness escalated as Letterman continued to press on the topic, mocking her prison food.
That hard-boiled egg and an orange, you can't go wrong there, honestly. Because you have your protein and you have some fruit there. That's pretty good.
Kathy Griffin's emotional press conference. Griffin appeared visibly distressed, struggling to find the right words as she talked about the aftermath of the incident.
I'm going to be honest, he broke me. He broke me.
Her voice trembled with emotion, and tears welled up in her eyes as she tried to explain herself.
And then I was like, no, this isn't right. It's just not right.
Griffin's distress grew as she spoke about the intense media scrutiny and the impact on her career.
Scared. So, yeah, I don't know if I'm going to get arrested today. I don't know.
Danny DeVito's wild morning on The View. Danny was smiling wide, talking about the White House visit with joy, but his words were already a little slurred, and the host noticed it right away.
You know, they built it really well.
Yeah.
Of course.
Then out of nowhere, he made a strange face and dropped a word that made Rosie burst into laughter, and Barbara looked down uncomfortably.
Yeah. Which was really nice. The place had that kind of Clinton feeling.
Yeah.
He kept going with weird noises and random words, while Rosie laughed so hard she had to cover her face. But Barbara looked more worried than amused. As he shouted a name and made silly grunts, you could feel the room shifting between laughter and secondhand embarrassment.
Trying to, figure out what to do with our country and our...
And just when you thought it could not get stranger, he mimed taking his clothes off, making Elizabeth react in shock while still laughing.
Donald. Okay, on. What about...
Mike Tyson shocks with inappropriate interview comment. Tyson made a blunt and offensive statement about women, keeping a still face and cold eyes while saying it directly to the interviewer.
I'm 36 years old, going to 36. I never dreamed of living this long. I never dreamed of fornicating with many.
He paused after his words, holding his stare. He did not smile or pull back. The moment hung heavy in silence.
I won't talk nice to you and talk about fornicating with you and letting you suck my because...
Tyson then added a final line with a strong tone, making it sound like a warning or a demand.
If I was eloquent with you, you would still look at me as a scumbag.
The clip then cut to a different scene where Tyson was in public, walking away while others looked on. The mood was still uneasy. Some of those moments were hard to forget, and even harder to watch again. Which one shocked you the most? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let us know which interview you think we missed and what topic we should cover next. Do not forget to subscribe so you do not miss what comes next.